What if the universe is not just a vast, empty stage of matter and energy, but something far more intimate, something alive? Welcome to Information World. For centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars and asked the same question in different forms: what is the universe made of, and what is its true nature? Science has given us powerful models: atoms, forces, equations, space-time, but beneath all of that lies a deeper mystery. The universe behaves in ways that are strangely familiar to us. It grows, it evolves, it organizes itself, it responds to disturbances, and it follows patterns that resemble life itself. This raises a provocative idea that was once dismissed as pure philosophy but is now quietly returning to serious scientific discussion: what if the universe is a living organism? At first, this idea sounds poetic, even mystical. After all, we usually define life in very narrow biological terms. Living things metabolize energy, grow, adapt, reproduce, and respond to their environment. Rocks do not do this. Galaxies do not breathe. Space does not have a heartbeat. And yet, when scientists step back and observe the universe as a whole, they notice behaviors that echo these very properties, but on a scale so vast that our everyday definitions may no longer apply. Let us begin with growth. The universe is not static. Since the moment of the Big Bang, space itself has been expanding. Galaxies are moving away from each other, not because they are traveling through space, but because space itself is stretching. This expansion is not slowing down, it is accelerating. In biology, growth is one of the most fundamental characteristics of life. An organism begins small, expands, differentiates, and becomes more complex over time. The universe, too, started in an extremely hot, dense state and gradually unfolded into stars, galaxies, planets, and eventually life capable of wondering about its origins. Then there is structure. Living organisms are not random collections of parts. They organize themselves into cells, tissues, organs, and systems, all working together in delicate balance. When scientists map the large-scale structure of the universe, they find something astonishing. Galaxies are not scattered randomly. They form vast filaments and clusters separated by enormous voids, creating what is known as the cosmic web. When compared visually, this structure bears a striking resemblance to neural networks in the human brain. The branching patterns of galaxies echo the branching patterns of neurons, as if the universe itself has a kind of cosmic nervous system. This resemblance is not just aesthetic. Both systems optimize the flow of information and energy. In the brain, neurons transmit electrical and chemical signals. In the universe, matter and energy flow along gravitational pathways. While the mechanisms are different, the underlying principle of efficient organization is remarkably similar. This raises an unsettling question: are we seeing coincidence, or are we glimpsing a universal pattern that applies to life at every scale? Another key feature of life is self-regulation. Living organisms maintain internal balance through processes known as homeostasis. Body temperature, chemical composition, and energy levels are carefully regulated. Surprisingly, the universe also appears finely balanced. The fundamental constants of nature, the strength of gravity, the charge of the electron, the speed of light, are set within extremely narrow ranges. If any of these values were slightly different, stars would not form, chemistry would collapse, and life as we know it would be impossible. This phenomenon is known as fine-tuning, and it has puzzled scientists for decades. Some explain it through the idea of multiple universes, suggesting we simply happen to live in one that supports complexity. Others see it as evidence that the universe has an intrinsic tendency toward organization and stability, much like a living system that naturally maintains conditions favorable to its own continuation. Energy flow is another powerful clue. Every living organism depends on a constant exchange of energy with its environment. Without energy, life ceases. The universe, too, is defined by energy flow. Stars burn fuel, releasing light and heat. Galaxies collide and merge, redistributing matter. Even empty space is not truly empty, it seethes with quantum fluctuations, particles appearing and disappearing in a restless dance. This constant activity suggests a dynamic system rather than a dead, frozen machine. Some physicists have begun to describe the universe using language once reserved for biology. They speak of cosmic evolution, emergence, adaptation, and even memory. In certain theories, space-time itself can store information, much like a memory bank. Black holes, once thought to destroy information, are now understood to preserve it in subtle ways. Information, it turns out, may be just as fundamental to the universe as matter and energy. If information is central, then the universe begins to look less like a machine and more like a process, something that learns, adjusts, and evolves. In biology, evolution operates through variation and selection. In cosmology, some speculative models suggest that universes themselves may reproduce through black holes, with each new universe inheriting slightly different physical constants. Over time, universes that are better at producing complexity could become more common. This idea, known as cosmological natural selection, paints a picture of a universe participating in something eerily similar to biological evolution. Consciousness is perhaps the most controversial aspect of this discussion. Life, as we experience it, is deeply tied to awareness. We do not simply exist, we experience existence. Human consciousness arises from networks of neurons interacting in complex ways. If complexity gives rise to consciousness at the level of brains, could an even greater level of complexity give rise to a form of consciousness at the level of the universe? This does not mean the universe thinks in words or emotions the way humans do. A cosmic consciousness, if it exists, would be utterly alien. It might be more like a background awareness, a field of experience woven into the fabric of reality itself. Some ancient philosophies hinted at this idea long before modern science. They spoke of a universal mind, a living cosmos, or a fundamental unity behind all things. What is new today is not the idea itself, but the scientific language now being used to revisit it. Critics argue that calling the universe alive stretches the definition of life too far. Life, they say, requires reproduction, metabolism, and evolution through natural selection in a biological sense. The universe does not reproduce in any confirmed way, nor does it compete with other universes in any observable environment. From this perspective, the universe is better described as a complex physical system, not a living organism. But definitions evolve, just like our understanding. Once, life was thought to require breath, which is why early scientists believed microorganisms were not alive. Later, we discovered life thriving in extreme environments, deep oceans, radioactive zones, and freezing darkness, places once thought completely hostile. Each discovery forced us to expand our definition of what life can be. If we accept that life is fundamentally about organized complexity, energy flow, information processing, and adaptation, then the universe begins to fit more comfortably into that framework. It may not be alive in the way a tree or an animal is alive, but it could be alive in a broader, deeper sense, a form of life so vast that we exist inside it, the way cells exist inside a body. This perspective changes how we see ourselves. If the universe is a living organism, then galaxies could be compared to organs, stars to cells, and intelligent beings like us to specialized processes within a much larger whole. Our thoughts, discoveries, and technologies might not be separate from the universe's evolution, but expressions of it. In this view, when the universe became conscious through us, it was not an accident. It was a natural continuation of its own development. Such an idea carries profound philosophical implications. It challenges the notion that we are insignificant in a cold, indifferent cosmos. Instead, it suggests that we are participants in an unfolding cosmic story. Our curiosity, creativity, and desire to understand may be the universe exploring itself, trying to know what it is. This does not require abandoning science or embracing blind mysticism. It requires curiosity and humility. Science has always progressed by questioning assumptions. Once, the idea that Earth was not the center of the universe seemed absurd. Once, the idea that time and space could bend seemed impossible. Today, these ideas are foundational. Perhaps the idea of a living universe is another step in that long tradition of expanding perspective. Of course, we must be careful. Metaphors are powerful, but they can mislead if taken too literally. Saying the universe is alive does not mean it has intentions or desires like a human being. It means that the boundary between life and non-life may not be as clear as we once thought. It means that the same principles shaping cells and minds may also shape stars and galaxies. As research continues in physics, cosmology, and complexity science, we may discover that life is not an exception in the universe, but an expression of its deepest nature. The universe may not simply host life. It may be life. And if that is true, then every question we ask, every mystery we explore, and every insight we gain is not just human curiosity at work. It is the universe, alive and evolving, looking back at itself through conscious eyes. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to dive deeper into ideas like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps Information World grow, and I'll see you in the next one.